Hi guys, today let's talk about vocal mixing. My name is Coinx and I'm happy to have you guys back here in CoinxDaProducer. This is a platform where we share tips and tricks that will help you step up your game in the production process. So today we'll be looking at my step-by-step process in mixing vocal, taking it from this original level. Shebi na you where they call me a loser. But right now, Oluwa done turn me a winner. To this processed level. Shebi na you where they call me a loser. But right now, Oluwa done turn me a winner. So, as you can hear that, it is radio ready. And trust me, this will take your mix from the level it is to an advanced level. And in today's tutorial, I will be giving out this mixing chain that I have here for free. But if you want to have this, you need to stick around a little bit longer in this video because at some point I will disclose how you can download it. So with that being said, let's dive right into it. The first thing we will talk about is getting a reference track. Now, the first thing I did was to pick a song that I want my voice to sound like. When I got the artist, I downloaded his song, splitted it, removing the vocals from the instrumentals. And the reason for that is so that I will have full control on studying the texture of the vocal, because sometimes it's a little bit difficult to do it while everything is playing together. Once that is done, as you can see here in FL Studio, on top is the vocal and below is the instrumental of that reference track. Once I got that, I'll bring it in here. Before we go further, I'll show you how it was possible for me to split these instrumentals. I used an AI tool called LALAL.ai, as you can see here. So with this AI tool, it was easy for me to split it. So once that is done, I imported them here. I focused on the lead voice. On the lead voice, I sent it to a mixer channel, and on that mixer channel, I inserted Pro Q3 from FabFilter. Now, while it's playing, the only thing I did was to sample that vocal EQ. I'll click right here and I'll go to match EQ. Then I'll play the track. As it's playing, I'll go to the match EQ. I will switch this reference to input. Then I will record it. Once I've recorded certain portion of it, I'll click on match. It will automatically give me the EQ structure of that vocal that I imported here. Now, what I normally do, I drive this all the way up. The reason for this is so that it will get all these whole peaks here. Then I'll click finish. Once that is done, I'll go here and I'll save it as a reference, voice, whatever you name it. Once I've saved that, that is the first thing to do. Now, if you are mixing with a wave beat, like a beat already rendered, I would also suggest that you do the same thing with the beat. Go to the reference beat, send it to a mixer channel, insert Pro Q3, sample it, save it also. Now go to your own beat, insert Pro Q3, and call up that EQ you've already saved from the reference. But I will do this demonstration with the voice because I did not apply it on the beat, so I will use the voice. So what I did was, after I sampled the lead voice, I went to my own track where my lead voice is. I inserted Pro Q3 and I just went to the voice I saved already. As you can see, I named it Johnny Ref Sample. I listened carefully. This wasn't how it came, you know. I had to make some adjustments, like the low end was so high, I had to cut it to this point and get rid of the unnecessary peaks that I don't need. So once I did that, now this is mine with the EQ match. Let me turn off every other thing and just leave the EQ so that you hear exactly what is going on. Shebi na you where they call me a loser. That's my original vocal. And this is Johnny Drills. Crazy oh. Now, let me add the EQ match so that you can see. This is without the EQ match. Shebi na you where they call me a loser. This is with it. Shebi na you where they call me a loser. So you see, very, very, very important to do this, especially if you're trying to achieve a certain type of vocal texture. So now we've gotten the EQ match of Johnny Drill's voice and blend it into my own and achieve almost the same texture with Johnny Drill voice. Then the next thing I did was to start processing the vocals. So, and on my vocal chain, the first thing there is Fruity Balance. I only use this Fruity Balance to make sure that the level of Johnny Drill's voice matches with my own level. Then the next thing, Soundgoodizer. Guys, this is a mind-blowing tool inside FL Studio. Listen and see what Soundgoodizer adds to the vocal. Shabina, you where they come me a loser. I'll go extreme so that you hear what is happening there. Then I'll call it back. Shabina, you where they come me a loser. But right now, all on top. That's without it. Shabina, you where they come. And that's with it. Shabina, you where they come me a loser. So you can see, this is something great, you know. Once I'm done adding this Soundgoodizer and setting it to the level that I like, and before I forget, I like using this A. It works best for me. Then if I'm processing a background voice, I like using either C or D, but please apply with caution. Don't overdo it. If you have a professional headphone, please engage it while applying this. So now that we've added this Soundgoodizer, the next thing, I'll bring in autotune. I'll set the key. Shabina, you where they come me a loser. And I'm okay with the level. Then the next thing that comes in is the first compressor. And I'm just allowing it to compress till around -5 dB. Not that much, as you can see. Shabina, you where they come me a loser. But right now, all who done turn me away now. Yeah, this life not on my turn. No let anybody down. So you can see around -5 dB. Then I reduce the trim to bring down the added volume from the compressor. The next thing I call in is another EQ. Now this EQ is where I do some boost and roll up. I cut off those low rumbles that are not needed, you know. After that, I discovered that my vocal was too, tiny. I had to give it a little boost at around 251 Hertz. And over here and cuts, there are terrible frequency that I didn't really like because I recorded in an open space. So my mic picked the room noise and it wasn't good at all. So I cut it off, and I cut off S's because of the type of mic I'm using. It has high frequency. So after that, then I rolled off this section because I can't hear anything when I listen, just rolled it off. I had to boost here because I noticed that it was lacking a little bit of the low mid, the mid, so I needed to boost it a little bit. So guys, after this stage, the next thing I did was to bring in the multiband, the stock plugin in FL Studio, set it. I'm not going to go through how I set all this since I'm going to give you the preset chain. So I set it, but I focused on the mid. With this, I usually use the multiband to control those mid, not to poke out so much. If I play, you see what is happening. Shabina, you where they come me a loser. But right now, all who done turn me away now. Yeah, this life not on my turn. I don't know if you can see it, it's controlling it, is docking it down a little bit. So once I'm done with that, and let me turn it off and show you the difference. This is without the multiband. Shabina, you where they come me a loser. And this is with it. Shabina, you where they come me a loser. Yeah, it's subtle, but it's really controlling that mid, especially the high mid. It's docking it down a little bit, and that is exactly what I want to achieve, judging by the reference track I am working on. The next thing I engaged is RVox. I love what it adds to the vocals, because when I listen to Johnny Drill's track, I can hear something like that analog kind of feel. So I engaged it, just compressed it a little bit and reduced the volume, just to keep the average level controlled. So after that, I engaged another EQ. But before I continue, let me preview so that you see what the RVox is adding to the vocal. This is without it. Shabina, you where they come me a loser. And this is with it. You might not really figure it out because everything I'm adding is just a little bit of it. You know, I keep it subtle so not to add too much. After that, I now engage this. And this is the point where I used the reference sample from my reference track. I engaged it, tweaked it to the level I am comfortable with. I will play without it and I'll play with it so that you see the difference. That is without it. Now this is with it. But right now, Oluwa done turn me away now. Without it, Shabina, you where they call me a loser. But right now, Oluwa done turn me away now. Honestly, guys, this EQ match of a thing is a game changer. If you are really enjoying this video, please give it a like and leave your comments, and don't forget to subscribe because it helps the algorithm. So now after that, the next thing I inserted is RCompressor. In this track, you can see that I used 5 different compressors to achieve this. Some people might say, oh, that's too much, that's wrong. But you know, when it comes to music production, there is no set on stone law. Whatever tool you use to achieve something you are going for, go for it. It doesn't really matter so long as it's not destroying your mix. So guys, I'm engaged this, trust me, but I'm only just trying to share what works for me with you guys. Shabina, you where they call me a loser. And without it. Shabina, you where they call me a loser. So guys, you can hear the difference. And after that, I now engaged another EQ. Why I engaged this EQ? I noticed that I could still hear some low ends that I'm not comfortable with. So I used this section and made it dynamic so that whenever that low end comes in, it ducks it down. So, and after that, I took care of the harsh frequencies. And as you can see, I didn't use any de-ease plugin. I just used this, you know, and you made it dynamic. Whenever the SE sound comes, it ducks it down. I now routed this processed channel to this other channel. Now on this group, I brought in EQ just to give it a little bit lift on the high end and on the mid. So after that, I added a little bit of chorus. So then after the chorus, I added reverb. This is also just a default setup in FL Studio. I didn't touch anything. I just put it, listened to it, and set it to the right level. Then finally, I added Fruit 2 balance just to set the overall level to the same level with the reference track. And that is all I did to achieve that vocal texture. What is left is the wet effect, the delay, which I'm not gonna go into it, and the reverb, the room and the long reverb, and then the distortion. So guys, I will play it with the instrumentals so that you see what we have so far. Then after that, I will show you how I took care of the background voice. Shabina, you where they call me a loser. But right now, Oluwa done turn me away now. Yeah, this life not on my turn. No let anybody down. Maka HDM. Yeah. Shabina, you where they call me a loser. But right now, Oluwa done turn me away now. Yeah, this life not on my turn. No let anybody down. Maka HDM. Yeah. Before I conclude, let's talk about the wet effect, starting with the delay and its settings. All I did was turn off this because this brings in analog noise, set my delay to 1/4, reduce the feedback, cut off the low frequency and the high frequency, and that's it. I didn't do any other thing there. Then on the room reverb, here should be 35. The pre-delay should be 35 milliseconds because my tempo is 100. So I divided it by 60,000 and divide till I get a number I'm comfortable with. And I did the same on the long reverb, and that is it, guys. So if you enjoy this tutorial, please give it a like, and leave your comments on what you think. Maybe something I didn't say correctly or a mistake you feel that I made. Just let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And please subscribe. Remember to turn on your notification bell for future uploads. So guys, that will be a wrap for this tutorial. See you guys in the next one. Take care and bye-bye.